Hello everybody, and I've said that I was going to do this tutorial for a while, and I finally got around to doing it. So I am going to teach you guys how to paint. So first things first, what you're going to want, this is how I do all mine, paint.net. Now I use 4.0.9, that's just what I got, not saying there's a right or wrong one to do. Okay, so next up, you're going to want to bake. Okay, so I have some down here. Here are some of the bakes that I have. Now, some of them kind of weird. This one's storm damage. I don't have a body for some of them, but I guess we'll start off with this one. So this is the one for, what is it for? It's a custom, but anyway, up here is all your tools. Here is your paint bucket. That's what I'm going to use first. Alright, first thing, we need to pick a color for our truck. So, let's go with a nice little gray, I guess. And before I do that, I'm going to paint the background of some color just so things don't get messed up. Otherwise, they might get all messed up, and then you'll have a bad day. So, paint that a background color. Hit finish after any time that you're done painting. So, let's make this truck dark orange. Is this dark orange enough? No, it's not orange enough. So, if you hit this more button, it'll bring you to a fine tuner. Then you can fine tune all the paint colors. And then I'm just going to paint all of my panels. Now, as you can see here, up here is your undo button. It's kind of a given. As you can see, there's these little slots. Well, say that I want to leave those slots open. Well, what I'm going to do is this little tolerance bar up here. I'm going to drag it down a little bit until those appear like that. That way I can paint them in, and then it gives it, another dimension that some people might not add. Most of the time, though, you're going to want it at 50. It just looks the best. Now, same with the license plate cut out there. Maybe I want to put a custom license plate there. So I'm going to do that, and then maybe I want to make that a custom side. So, say that I want to make this a custom side. Well, that was the first one that I painted, so now I have to go all the way back. I probably should have thought about that when I first painted it, but, I guess I didn't think that far. So, I'm going to bring this down to... Alright, 23 looks really good for the sides. It leaves out these headlight cutouts and a nice big side cutout that I can eventually do something with. That looks good there at 23. I'm going to finish and then bring it up to 50. That way it doesn't do that to that front bit. Alright, and then I want my license plate area to be left alone. Alright, so now let's think of something that we want to do. So, what do I want to name this truck? Well, to put logos on, what you're going to go to is layers and then import. So, I have a bunch of different things. All of these are logos. So, let's see here. Do I want to make it something that's already been done, or do I want to make mine custom? Alright, so I have all these to pick from. I'm gonna do, what do I want to do? Let's do a Avenger. Will that color scheme work with that? Yeah, it will. So, I want to put that like that. I can size it, make it a little bit longer, make it a little bit taller, right? Position it just right where I want it. That actually looks really, really good. Actually, before I do that though, I'm going to actually paint in all these little side vents that I left open. So I'm going to go back to my paint bucket, and what color do I want those to be? I'll just make them black. Alright, so this is like a gray, right? So if I paint this in, it's going to be gray. If I drag this all the way over, that is pure black, and that's what I want it to be. Now I want to drag it down to about 50, just because that looks the cleanest, and it fills it in the most. Right, I'm going to do the headlights like that, and then these lights down here. Alright, and I'm going to do the license plate. I guess I'll do it that as well, and then I'm going to put a logo over that eventually. So, what I'm going to do is finish, and I want to make this an Avenger, so import, that's how you get all your logos. Or should we do a Brutus? Nah, I'm going to stick with Avenger. Oops. Don't grab the center thing, because then it makes it weird. If you do, just go back, hit undo, and right about there looks like a good size. So I'm going to go back up to layers and duplicate layer. I'm going to just drag it up, and then if you go out to the edge, you get a little arrow like that. Flip it around. Sometimes it can be kind of disorienting. I can even say the word. And then move it to up close to what that is. Now, keep in mind that I'm probably not going to put this on a truck, but hey, you never know. Alright, layers, and I'm going to actually make it an Avenger license plate. So, I'm going to make this really, really tiny, and drag it right there. That looks really good. Alright, and then one last thing. Oops. Don't want to do that. Hit that. I want to duplicate it, and I want to put one on the hood. Alright, so we got Avenger on the hood. Now, say you want to add a little bit more pizzazz. So let's go put some sponsor logos on it, stuff like that. So it's going to be the same thing, import it, and go to wherever you have your logos. Let's see here. What do I want to put on it? No, I'm not going to put E3 on there. Just find something that you want to put on it. Oh, we'll put a Hot Wheels logo on it first. Okay, now notice how it has this white box around it. Well, say I want to get rid of that. Well, I'm going to go back up to my tools and pick Magic Wand. Now, if I want to do this the easiest, you click on the area that you want to get rid of, right? And you could eraser around it, but what I found the absolute easiest, just hit delete. Boom, it's gone. Now, we'll go back up into our tools and hit the move selected pixels. Now the box is probably going to get really, really big after you do that. Just don't let it bother you. Alright, make it to the size that you want it, and drag it to wherever you want to put it. Actually gonna make it quite a bit smaller here. Alright, I'm gonna put that right there. Layers and duplicate. Now notice, once I duplicate it, it stays without the box around it, which is really nice. Alright. Put it near the top here. And then make it perfectly, like 90. Okay, so recording stopped. Its Bandicam only lasts for so long. So, let's put a big ol' like Lucas Oil picture on there. And I could get a lot more creative than this, but this is basically just for demonstrating purposes only. Now notice this one doesn't have a box around it. Some of them do, some of them don't. You just gotta kind of watch to see what has it and what doesn't. Now, normally whenever I put something on the roof, I put it the bottom towards the back. Now, why do I do this? Well, I like doing wheelies, right? So when I'm up in a wheelie, I want to be able to read it. So that's just what I do. Alright, so let's duplicate it. And I'm going to put one of these right under the Avenger logo here. We're going to be totally Bigfoot and take up 90% of whatever I want with just sponsors. Alright, layers and duplicate. Now, if you really wanted to, you could just stretch it out and, you know, like make it like there and then stretch the bottom. Boom. But then you gotta worry about like making it the same size. I don't really deal with that, so I just undo, just drag it. I find it's easier to line it up than it is to have to resize it. That looks good. Actually, just square it up a little bit more. That looks good. So, what's the next one we want to do? Let's see here. We'll put a Monster Blog logo on there. Now, I could keep the black around it, but that would look kind of tacky, so once again, magic wand, and delete the outside of that. And now I have myself a nice logo. This is how you'll have to do logos 90% of the time. Alright, now I want to size it to put it right there. Maybe up there. Yeah, up there looks good. Alright, and then duplicate. And I'm going to put it in the same spot, just spin around. Now sometimes logos are kind of crooked like this. The easiest way to make sure that it is pretty aligned, just use the box that goes around it. Easy. And then I'll put a Monster Jam logo on there. I'm sure I've got one somewhere in here. Yeah, I probably could get rid of some of this stuff, but it's like one of my favorite logos. I might put that somewhere. Let's see here. Monster Jam. Holy crap, that got big. So we gotta make it a little bit bigger just to move it to where I want it to. Alright, and then I'm gonna go layers and duplicate. Now you'll see once I drag that little tiny dot out of that, it begins to really be hard to maneuver this around because your turning point is right there. But sometimes you have to do that in order to place a logo where you want it. So you can actually grab it when it's very small. What else was I going to put on here? I feel like there was something else. See, I got my Monster Jam logo on there. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Um, so I've put all my logos on there. Now you all see when the Monster Jam logos like got in here, this white part, like this blue part used to be at the end of this white part. Well, if you try and just put that on a truck, it's not going to match up, right, with what is there, because this will be smaller than what it should be. So what I'm going to do is just file, save this, right? So file, save as, you want to save it as a PNG, and we'll save it as custom Avenger. Now, whenever you're making paints, you want no spaces. And you want it to be a PNG so that you can put it on something. And then find somewhere to put it. I'm just going to put it in my documents. Alright. And flatten. You want to flatten so that all of your logos are on there. Right? Otherwise, you're going to have, otherwise the logos won't stay on there, basically. Alright, and then I'm going to exit out of that one. And that one. Don't save that because it's nothing. And then I want to go find my Custom Avenger paint. So, Custom Avenger. Now what I want to do is, now you see everything's on there, right? Looks good, all that. So you want to just drag this right to the end of that. You want to make sure you don't go too far or too little. Otherwise it'll kind of mess it up. You want to make sure it's really precise on there. Otherwise you'll have some areas that are kind of messed up. And it's really hard to get it right on some of these logos that spawn in really, really big. But all in all, that's how you fix that problem. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much just how you make a paint. Maybe later I'll add some flames or something and maybe make this an actual thing. Heck, maybe I'll even paint it green. And you will see that once you have it in here, if I just select a green in my paint bucket, you can make it green. Now, I want to tone this green down a tad. So, yeah. And then I'm going to bring my tolerance down a little bit so it doesn't destroy my Avenger logo. And then I'll just do that pretty much for everything if I want. And, once you do that, boom, I have a green Avenger Lucas Oil sponsored truck, Corvette truck. And then these are the inserts for the lights. Let's say I want to make those red. Obviously you're not going to have these on every truck, but make those red, and bada bing, bada boom, you actually have a pretty good paint. Now if I want to go and add flames later, I will keep you guys in touch with what I do with this, but all in all, this was mainly just for tutorial purposes. It turned out pretty good though. I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's very, very easy to rate or to paint. It's it's really easy. I learned all by myself. Basically, I haven't had anybody to teach me. Yeah, it's just a lot of layers and stuff like that. Then you gotta flatten everything. I see our Hot Wheels logo didn't too good. If I wanted to, I could just go to paintbrush. This is the size of it. This is same with eraser. I want to make that. Maybe 50, and then make sure. Oops, I don't want that to be black or red. Duh. But maybe if I do, maybe I want to make this. Oh, let's say I want to put a stripe on here. So I can just select this. If I want to size it and move it, I would just go like this. Alright, oops. I could do this if I wanted. I don't though. Alright guys, so once again, with Bandicam, I don't know how far we got, but I painted the back. Just make sure that you're precise whenever you're using the paintbrush. I used it to cover up the Hot Wheels logo, because I decided I didn't want it. Now, I probably will put something on the bed at a later time, but for now, that's how it's going to be. I might actually finish this up sometime, like actually make it a truck, because it's pretty cool. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys actually learned something, and hopefully I can see some more painters out there, because I'd love to see you guys making some really cool stuff. I actually am kind of liking this Avenger Corvette truck. I'll call it the 2016 El Camino. There we go. Yeah, it actually looks really good. I like it. I might actually make this a thing. So yeah, keep looking out for this. This might be a thing. I might put like some flames on it, something like that. I don't know. That might be kind of cool. Who knows? Maybe it'll make it to Sim Monsters. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this and got something useful out of this. I really hope that you did. It was very fun to make. I like doing this kind of thing. Yeah, it's cool stuff to paint, and then you look back and you're like, wow, I accomplished that. You know, it looks really cool. So, thank you guys all so much for watching. It's pretty cool. Painting. It's a good feeling. It's just good in general. Alright. Well, hopefully this helped you guys out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.